after Microsoft's acquisition, here we go. So Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax, which is Bethesda's parent company, so they own Bethesda, of course. We talked about this on the podcast a couple times now. That officially passed in the EU, so it's pretty much done deal there. It's going to be a done deal in the U.S. It would have been a done deal in the U.S. anyway. The U.S. doesn't give a shit about monopolies, so they're good. So after that, they feel comfortable now to talk a little bit more, but they didn't really produce anything when they started talking more about it. So yet, anyway, they're hinting a little, like Phil Spencer's like dropping nuggets here and there, but it's nothing specific yet. So for example, they did mention that again there will be exclusives from Bethesda that are just for PC and Xbox via Game Pass. That's a foregone conclusion. They will not state which games those are yet, but what he did do is he did imply that there are also games that are in Bethesda's back catalog that have previously been on multiple consoles or multiple places that will retroactively also get exclusive treatment for the Xbox and PC. So some people thought that perhaps when this acquisition happened that games that had come out before would just stay platform agnostic and it'd be whatever. But it seems that Philly has some other ideas. And rightfully so. If you spend $7 billion on a company, you lock as much of that shit up as you can. Yeah. They had contractual obligations, like, for example, with, what's the name of the game that's coming up? There's one more that's coming up that was also announced for the PlayStation. That's probably still going to be PlayStation for like the new stuff. But anything beyond that, I would be shocked if Starfield, Elder Scrolls, stuff like that wouldn't be exclusive. You got to make a lot of money back, and you don't do that necessarily by making that multi-platform if your goal is to get as many people on Game Pass as possible.
Yeah, unless the other platforms are paying you a large amount of money.
Yeah, even if there were previously existing contracts, like let's say for, like DK is saying in chat right now, for let's say the MMO or other games, when you've already spent $7 billion, you just find ways to get rid of those contracts.
Yep.
So whatever it takes for Microsoft to earn back their money in a reasonable amount of time, look for them to do that, because it will happen. Yeah, I mean, not that I don't know when Starfield is going to hit. I have a hunch that we're going to get the first minor tastes this summer. But I mean, Elder Scrolls 6 is probably, I mean, Kai's going to be in high school.
It ain't coming out anytime soon.
By the time that's coming out, it's going to be long time from now. So, yeah. But in related stuff, in order of this news that got released, they did find, or Nibel found, that Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout Game of the Year Edition, Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition, for Windows 10 was listed on the Microsoft Store, which for a date release of tomorrow, the 12th, which would likely mean that they're coming to the Game Pass at the same time. And of course, Skyrim is now available technically on a new digital platform, so Todd Howard is viciously masturbating right now somewhere in the world over the fact that that's going to be re-released again on another platform and maybe get some more sales. However, then that got updated earlier today. I'll open this tweet here because it wasn't a text list, it was a graphic here. So 20 Bethesda games are coming to the Game Pass tomorrow. And they are what they call what they have in the video or the image here, play 20 iconic Bethesda games on the Windows PC, console, and mobile. So the list here is both Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2 goes to all three of those. So actually, is anything? Okay, so there's a couple things in this list that are only for Xbox and PC, but I'll let you know which ones those are. If I don't say it, then I'll clarify, I guess, for something else. So Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2, PC, console, mobile. Doom, the original, we're talking the original Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, which is wild, Doom 3, Doom Eternal, all coming out and all on all three platforms. So mobile, console, and PC. Fallout New Vegas, that is console only, interestingly enough. Fallout 4, all 3 platforms. Fallout 76, all 3 platforms if you hate yourself. Prey is there, all 3 platforms. Rage 2, all 3 platforms. Morrowind Game of the Year Edition on PC and consoles. As well as Oblivion, PC and consoles. Skyrim, all 3 platforms. Elder Scrolls Online, so what we were just talking about, for example, this doesn't mean exclusivity necessarily, but here it is. Elder Scrolls Online is PC and consoles. The Evil Within, all 3. Wolfenstein, The New Order, I think is that one, if I'm not mistaken, all 3. Wolfenstein, The Old Blood, all 3, and Wolfenstein Youngblood. Yeah, I can't.
Sounds like a rapper.
That's his. That's when BJ Blazkowicz's daughters are the people that you play in that one, if I'm not mistaken. That's also on all 3 platforms. So that's a pretty hefty list. There's a lot of good games there. And it's interesting now to start to see them really pushing the fact that, like, hey, you can play these on mobile, meaning you're streaming them, and playing them remotely from the cloud for these titles. And that's exciting because of all of these streaming software that has existed, Microsoft seems to have been the most stable so far. So being able to pop on and play these games, you attach a controller to your phone through whatever device you want to use. You can even, I think, get a Xbox controller to just work with your phone. Is a neat concept that I'm sure a lot of people will make use of. But there you go. The other additive thing to this to keep in mind, as we talked about the other week, you'll remember I talked about how they're really going all in on trying to make older games run better on the new consoles, and the way that they messed with, I think it was Direct 3D based stuff to increase frame rates, like double them in older games. They haven't listed which of these games are going to be getting that treatment, but they did say that some of the games on that list will actually be getting that treatment. So not only will they be available, but if you're playing them on console, on the Xbox anyway, you're going to be getting that nearly doubled frame rate or whatever, the increased performance in those games. I suspect that would be things like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim,
like the older stuff, right?
Older stuff that they can work that out, and even some of the newer stuff has that ability. Like, because some of the newer stuff, for example, the Wolfenstein games, didn't run amazingly on the Xbox One. So if they could also increase performance, and that's great. But we'll wait and see, and then when we know more, we'll let you guys know more. But that's cool. So there you go. That's your first wave of Bethesda-isms for the Xbox and PC, and of course mobile. So if you're a big fan of those things, you keep an eye out. And if you got Game Pass, or like me, you went to Tim Hortons and Roll Up the Rim had Game Pass for 1 month as a prize, I too can play some of these games tomorrow on the Game Pass.